Hello guys, I have for you a new watch from Hruodland. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's an homage to Vacheron Constantin 222. I have not seen a review for this particular model, so here we go. Okay, I'm going to skip the presentation section here because it's absolute shit, so let's get right to the specs. The watch is about 37 millimeters in diameter. The thickness is only about 7.3 millimeters, and then the lug to lug is around 45 millimeters, and then it is, I guess, technically a female end length, but it doesn't flex all that much, so I'm going to treat it as a male end length, and for male end length to another male end length, it measures around 50 millimeters and is heavily curved, so it will have a very slim profile, and it'll fit people with diminutive wrist like myself. Inside there is a Ronda 704 quartz that is driving the watch. It has a pretty good reputation for making quartz movement, and since the OG, the 222 that it's homaging, lacks a second hand, it is a great choice to get a quartz movement inside for a slimmer profile. And also there is about a 50 meters of advertised water resistance, but I will not even brush my teeth while wearing this watch, so it is what it is. Okay, so about the bracelet section, I got a lot of things to say about this bracelet. One, it is integrated like the OG. Second, it has butterfly clasp like the OG. And thankfully, much like the OG, there is one half length, I believe that is on the left side, that is existing so that you could kind of facilitate getting the appropriate sizing. And for me, utilizing that half length and taking it out really got me the proper sizing for my wrist. So it is really beneficial to have at the very least one half length to get a proper sizing on your wrist for butterfly clasp. Also talking about this bracelet, much like the OG, like the articulation is that of you taking, I don't know, like 7 Viagra by mistake. It's not really budging. It's very stiff. I would say that basically it has a give of a Latina doing an argument. It's just not going to budge. However, there is a natural curvature that occurs with the bracelet, so it does form around your wrist a little bit. It's nothing like, let's say for example, the Traska with the fully articulating bracelet, or the links that kind of rest on your wrist all the way throughout. It's nothing like that. However, it's not totally uncomfortable because a natural curvature actually kind of occurs with this particular bracelet, so it is somewhat comfortable. Now finally, unlike the OG, which I would assume, because I don't have $70,000 laying around for the original, but I would assume that if you were spending $70,000 for a watch, that it's going to be, finished really well. As far as bracelet is concerned, this not. This one, the bracelet is very rough. It does not feel good in your hands at all. It has sharpness in the inside, it has sharpness on the outside, it has sharpness on the edges. It's basically sharp everywhere, especially around the clasp. This is the first watch where I actually had to file it down, the clasp, to make it smoother, because within a minute, and I'm not exaggerating, within a minute, it was irritating and then almost cutting the inside of my wrist because the clasp was so sharp. Therefore, it was almost a necessity for me to go in and file down pretty much all aspects of the clasp, because otherwise it would have been way too uncomfortable for me to wear this particular watch for any length of time. So just be warned, if you decide to get this watch, you might need to do some filing on the clasp area specifically. Okay, to quickly go over the case, it has what I like to call a Colosseum like bezel around the sapphire crystal from the front. And on the lower right side there is a sign logo, much like the original that is homaging, but in this case it'll be the anchor logo of Hruodland. And overall I think it looks fairly nice. And moving toward the back, there is a really flat solid case back, which I really appreciate, mainly because it makes a tremendous amount of contact with the real estate on the back of your wrist, providing a really comfortable watch for you to wear. And to the side there is a very small crown. Now I think if there is a con to this, and I think this is a con with the original as well, is that if you have, I don't know, digitally endowed fingers, like really fat fingers, you might be having a little bit of a difficult time grasping the small crown. But for me, because my fingers are not that fat, it's not really been an issue at all. But I could see that if you have Andre the Giant like fingers, that you're going to have some little bit of an issue that's grasping the crown because it's so diminutive. Now the color of this model is what they actually call golden blue. Now when will you be able to see the color blue on this dial? Literally never. Unless the sun is directly hitting the dial. 99.9% of the time, and I'm not even exaggerating, it's gonna look black. So I'll try to capture the moment when the sun is directly hitting the dial in a picture and then post it somewhere here, but unless the sun is literally directly hitting the dial, it's gonna look black. As far as the lume, there is a little bit of lume on the baton hour markers as well as the minute and the hour hand, but as you could imagine, it's nothing spectacular. I probably would have preferred that they just skipped the lume and just went with better polishing throughout, but it is what it is. And then there is the usual design layout of the applied logo, followed by the branding, followed by in this case the AliExpress phases of Precision Custom, whatever that means, and then below it machinist, like Christian Bale, I guess. They're all done pretty well as far as the design layout. I would say there is also the date wheel on the side, the date wheel made for ants with gold accents applied on the windows. And aesthetically, I think if you put it together, I think is a really good homage of the original for a price point of below $200. Okay, so the conclusion, with the price point of around $185 US in AliExpress when it's not on sale, it's not exactly like a super cheap watch. There is a competitor that is out there that is also homaging the 222. I believe they're called or pronounced Speck & Son, and they are almost half the price of this particular model. So I would be on the lookout for that one as well, but the variations that they have is more in line with the 222, which is either stainless steel or the gold version is just all gold. Whereas this one has a little bit of a deviation, or more of a combination with different models of Vacheron Constantin, where it has a dark dial with the gold, with the model being homaging the 222. So I really enjoy black and gold. Anytime you give me a black and gold watch, I'm pretty much hooked. That's the reason why I got it. However, if you're not too keen on this particular color combination, I would look for the cheaper version of the 222 from its competitors. So if you have any questions about this watch, leave it in the comments, like and subscribe and all that stuff, and I'll see you later. Peace.